Greetings, my name is Rob Wilson, and I am your Director of Congregational Development and Revitalization. At both the conference and local church level, work is being done to strengthen ministries to make them vital and effective. Creating new and renewed congregations focuses on planting new communities of faith as well as revitalizing existing churches and ministry. As we continue to fulfill Christ's call to make disciples, we need to constantly be looking at new ways to reach people with the good news of the gospel. By sharing resources, support, and encouragement, we can offer relevant and life-changing ministry to people in our churches and communities, especially to those who are younger and from diverse backgrounds. Let's take a look at two different projects that have given new life to congregations. The regional coordinators help congregations get back to the basics of loving God with all our heart, soul, and mind, and loving our neighbor as ourselves. After the disruption of the pandemic, many congregations are feeling stuck, but don't know how to reset. By using the Mission Insight Demographics Report, the regional coordinators can help congregations to identify specific populations in their community, such as parents, senior citizens, or youth, who may be in need of ministry. Identifying and reaffirming our spiritual gifts and then discerning how we can use them has been a major component of what the regional coordinators are helping congregations to do. Let's hear from two churches that have benefited from the Regional Staff Pilot Project.
I just wanted to briefly share with you about the blessed time we had connecting with our regional conference staff and meeting with us as a relatively newly merged entity. They encouraged Grace to explore our spiritual gifts. We started this just with our outreach team, and the regional staff provided us with some helpful resources to measure those gifts and discern where God might be directing us next. We have since expanded this study to the whole congregation. And as we're getting our data back, we're really celebrating as our people are discovering the ways in which the Spirit has empowered them to do His work. Moreover, we're using that information to consider some next steps so that we might tailor our ministry to where the Spirit has most abundantly blessed us.
We had the opportunity of working with the regional staff to put on a spiritual gifts assessment here at the church. And we had almost 50 people show up to find out what are the ways in which God has blessed them for ministry in our community, in our context. And that was beautiful and wonderful in and of itself, but it afforded the church the opportunity. We actually recorded everyone's gifts, and we were able to put it into our database. And with that information, I can now go into that database along with our leaders through nominations or other projects that we have planned here at the church. And instead of saying, who are the people that always work with us in the church, instead we can say, who are the people that God has blessed for particular ministries within the church? And then giving them an opportunity to respond to God's call to use those gifts in our context. And so we've been blessed both in leadership and in new ministries that we've done to not just bring along the people who've always done it, but instead to bring along new people that God has called for these particular tasks within the church. And because of that, our church has been blessed. I believe our community is blessed, and God has fulfilled the ministry of making disciples of Jesus Christ here in Pittsfield area.
The Social Skills Group of Portview United Methodist Church was created to be inclusive of persons and families of persons on the autism spectrum and other neurological diagnoses. The group caters to children ages 4 to 14 and their families, where they learn, play, worship, and eat together. It is our hope that this example will inspire other churches to create similar opportunities for the children and families in their own congregations. Having programs that cater to these kids sends the message that they are loved, wanted, and needed in our church families.
The mission is, always to teach kids about Jesus. That's always my main goal in anything that I do in this church. But also to give them a place where they can they can get what they need in fellowship and learning new techniques, learning new things, and learning from each other. Being an autism parent is lonely. You're surrounded by therapists, your friends kind of disappear. Sometimes families disappear because the kids are hard. And, this gives parents a space that they can, fellowship with each other, and they can talk to other parents that maybe their kids struggling with something similar and talk it out.
As you can see, congregations are striving to maximize spiritual gifts and create new spaces for people to thrive and grow closer to Christ. It is our hope that you and your congregation will find inspiration in these stories and consider how your own congregations and ministries can be revitalized.